everybody, we got our doors back from the powder coat. I'd done a lot of little things before it went to the powder coat on both doors. Restored the original wood here. This original wood, this piece of wood is for the garnish molding. It's where it screws into. So I plugged all the old holes with a dowel and glued it in, refinished the wood, put it in. And then also, while I have the door skin off, took the opportunity to put these bumpers in that are for the windows. When they roll down, they hit that. And if you've ever tried to put these in with the door skin on, trying to reach over this little thing like that, it's a real pain in the ass. So, you know, just kind of think ahead of everything that you have to do when you're doing your project, no matter what it is. So these doors are both doors. The inner door frames are super nice. They fit the hole perfectly. It's all gapped. Everything's tits. The door skins are all finished and powder coated on the inside. We got the door handle latch plates on there. Door skins are ready to go back together. I put a little piece of Dynamat here in the middle. It's 16 by 16. Instead of dynamating the entire inner door, I feel like that it's just for a little bit of sound deadening. A piece like this is perfect. This door is extremely heavy, and it's only got two little hinge pins holding it, so an extra 10 pounds really makes a difference on something like this. And plus, you know, it's a 32 Ford, so it's not supposed to be as quiet as a Lexus. Everything is ready. I've double checked everything. I can't think of anything that I have missed. So we're now ready to put the skins back on the frame, get it flanged over, and there'll be a little bit of welding that has to be done. That's why there's no powder coat right in this area here and here and a couple of other areas, because there is a little bit of welding on the edge, and it would just burn the powder coat. 99% of the door, the inner door frame, the door skin, it's all coated. You know, I used to primer all this stuff, but you know, you can't get up underneath all these cracks and corners and stuff where the powder coat just sucks right to it. It's absolutely perfect. And the guys that I've used R&R powder coating in Corona there, Riverside, they have done lots of bodies, so I don't have to worry about them messing up my bodies. Actually, what I like to do is have the entire inside of the body powder coated after everything's done. Then that way it's sealed. Powder coat goes into every nook and cranny where you can't get to with a paint gun. It's just a really, 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 really good way to go. And it seals the sub rails, the interior, everything, and then you can do your standard bodywork and paint over the top of your bare metal on the outside. Another thing I did was I had my door strikers. I put my door strikers on. I don't have them on right now, but I had the door strikers on, and got all this to line up perfectly. So you want to have your door strikers and everything before you put your gaps on. Do your gaps, because if the strikers aren't right. But man, that's nice. Isn't that cool? It's been a lot of work. Each one of these doors, from the chopping of the inner door frame, chopping the top of the frame, making the door skin, putting it together, making all the repairs to the inner frame, you know, because we had some rust issues on the bottom, fixing all of that, fixing all the D-nuts. Very time consuming, redoing all the hinges and everything. Each door on this car, I've got 2.5 weeks of work per door. To me, this is exactly how this car would have came from Ford if it had this chop, because all the structure is 100% intact and correct. Everything lines up. It's not just hacked through, put together, welded, and ground. You know, this gets back into the structure of everything. It's getting the X braces and everything in makes it so much stronger. You saw in the previous videos, it's just time-consuming, tedious process, and it just depends on what result you're looking for. Pop that baby on there. That. Okay, so we got it together. We got some Clecos in it. Some clamps here where we can get where there's no hem. Got one down here at the bottom. I checked my gap around my hinges. Everything looks good. This particular hammer that I'm using, this hammer is designed for folding the flanges over on door skins. That's what this is for. This is a Martin brand, Martin number 170G for anybody that's interested. And you'll see it's going to come in real handy whenever we go to knock the flange over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp a few areas and then get the flange started and then go around it and just kind of get everything kind of locked in place a little bit. And then I'm going to take the door before I get it flanged over, and I'm going to put it back on that car and be sure that everything's looking good, because if you don't want to just knock all the flanges over and then put it on the car and go, oh shit man, it got out of alignment somewhere and this thing's all hemmed up. So just double check to avoid any problems. So we're going to clamp the skin in a few places. You take a piece of sheet metal and put on this back side so you don't leave a track from your clamp. And you want it to pull up snug because you want that flange to be tight. Okay, so that's nice and tight. Then we want to take our hammer. Looks pretty good. And then we're going to set this little spot right here. I'm just going to set that spot there. I'm going to come around here and set a spot here. One more here. Here. And then we're going to put it back on the car and be sure everything's cool. Okay, we got our door on the car. Opens and closes nice. The belt line lines up. Gap in the back's pretty good. Gap on the bottom's pretty good. Gap on the front is pretty good. We'll do need a little bit fine tuning on the gap here and there, but overall it fits really good. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to trim the door skin back, because right here, if you remember from seeing, we didn't have a flange to bend over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip, and then we're going to edge weld it right here on the back side and finish out our flange that way, here in the front and the back. The reason to do that is because it's so complicated trying to make a flange on this bead, and then when you fold it over, it doesn't ever look very nice on the finished side on the inside of the door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this a little bit, open that up just a little bit, obviously open this up here in the back where we're even, and then we'll cut our strip. We'll cut us a strip, and we'll put it on there and edge weld it in, and go from there. We got our driver's door, all the welding is completed on it. We've got our, you saw where we added our little flange around the bead and everything. I welded up the Cleco holes that we had earlier. I welded up the area here on the inside where the inner skin connects to the inner frame. The driver's side door is about 98% complete. There will be some more final gapping around the door, but that'll come after the top has been chopped. So now I'm just going to stick it on the car and look and see what it looks like, and then we will get ready and do the passenger side door, and then once that's done, chop the top. Go. Man, the back looks really good. Looks really good in the back. Front looks good. We're gonna have to add a little bit. We've got a low spot right here, but we'll edge weld the edges when we do our final gap and get that all perfect. Looks really good at the bead. This right here is gonna tip back a little bit. We're gonna tip this back a little bit when we tip the post back, so that'll close up on the body. So that looks good. The bottom looks really nice. Back looks good, bottom. Around the hinges look good. Looks good. Looks real nice. Looks good around the back here, got a good gap. So now, like I said, we'll get the passenger side done. We'll have it just like this. And then we're gonna cut the top and bring it down. So. It's a big accomplishment to get the doors in this state, because like I said earlier, there's a lot of hours in fixing everything that was wrong with them, but look at it now, man. It's perfect. Strong, no sag, no bend. Dovetail lines up perfect. We'll talk about dovetails and strikers and body shims also before we finish. So there it is. Looks good. Yeah, we'll just fix that right there. I'm happy. Looks good. So gonna have that nice rake to it. It's gonna be really bitching. And like I said, we'll get the other side done, then we'll put our 3/16 1/4-inch blocks. We'll weld them here and here and here, and then when we chop the top's just gonna sit right on top of the doors. And so that's gonna give us our rake. And then both sides of the body are going to be the same, because these window openings are the same, this top's the same. It's really the only way to go. And our doors open and close. So like I said, we're making the body fit the doors, not the doors fit the body. It's a much better plan.